I thought that this is really a good sutta to cover. And this is a Samyutta Nikaya, uh, section on this section spaces, Salayatna Samyutta, and extremely deep and powerful sutta. So I I didn't realize this sutta uh, so important. I mean, I know it had quite a lot of meaning earlier, but now I am kind of picking a bit more of depth and a bit more of information this time when I read it. It's called the ocean. And here Buddha says, because the uninstructed worldling speaks of the ocean, but that is not the ocean in noble one's discipline. That is just a great mass of water, a great expanse of water. So this is I mean, ocean is something that is uh, considered extremely profound, deep, and very, very challenging. It's like ocean of suffering. It's like ocean of wealth, ocean of knowledge, that sort of thing. So ocean is considered very profound. So an ocean is considered also almost infinite, extremely uh, profound experience of kind of the activities in our life. Yeah. So that means it is something near impossible. Yeah. Something too great. So that is what the concept of ocean used to be, at least in the Buddha's time. Now that we do not consider ocean in these days as so great as in that time, in ancient time. But what the Buddha's message here is that yes, there is a ocean. That ocean is so, I remember the when I was small, I used to listen to that sort of stories of Robinson Crusoe and how he ended up in amidst that sort of vast ocean, how he ended up being alone, surviving for more than 20, 30 years alone in that, right in the middle of that sort of ocean somewhere. So I used to be fascinated with those kind of stories of this this world is so vast, incomprehensible. It is infinite. It is beyond imagination. I used to be fascinated with the stories of ocean. Now, what the Buddha in the Buddha's time, it was like that. To see ocean, it just there is nothing. It's just it goes on and on. And that is the state of samsara. It is the state of world. And what Buddha says, even greater than, even that sort of beyond that sort of imagination of ocean is there is something. And Buddha says, the I, because is the ocean for a person. Its current consists of forms. One who withstands that current, consisting of forms, is said to have crossed the ocean of I with its waves, whirlpools, sharks, and demons. Crossed over, gone beyond, the Brahman stands on the high ground. So, this is really, there is no end. There is no end to this cosmos. There is no end to this I and form, this duality, this dependency of I with the form is, is far greater than any ocean we have seen. So that is our extremely uh, extremely paradoxical, extremely intricate and very, very sticky situation is I and form are, we have stuck in this experience of I and form for from the beginningless universe around the sort of ageless cosmos in the sort of boundless, timeless, and never ending process. It just goes on and on. We can never be able to be free from this I hitting the appearance of the form. That's it. So it is just it's just destiny. This entanglement of I to the form, and this is the ocean. That means you are drowned. We are completely submerged, completely swamped, drowning, and it's a vicious, like a quicksand. Just you have complete surrender, complete loss of freedom, loss of control, and this is the strongest bond. This is the strongest chain that has trapped us in that sort of from the time immemorial. This chain, this confinement is what the Buddha called the ocean. I is the ocean for a person, and its current is the form. Yeah. So really, you can only appreciate this statement when you have seen that sort of a state of mind where mind is, if you have developed a state of mind that is a bit more at ease after being freed from sense impingement. So, and that is, we don't need to go far. Just seclude yourself from the sensual pleasure. Just close your eyes. Let go of any thoughts. Let go of imagination, and allow the mind to settle. What is gonna happen is that as the mind finds its equilibrium, its state of peace from this sensory engagement, you have kind of not completely got the root, but secluded yourself through your volition. Yeah. So this state of freedom, temporary freedom from sensual pleasure through your volition is called jhana. Yeah. So jhana is that is why Buddha calls this jhana is conditioned and volitionally produced. Yeah. So jhana is not a freedom. It is volitionally produced. It is produced through your practice of your intention of letting go, your intention of uh, calming your bodily and verbal intentions, formations, that as well as sankharas. You calm your bodily and mental verbal sankharas, then you arrive at the state of jhana. Yeah. So when you are in that state of jhana, you have seen that's kind of a, a state that is less burdened with sense faculties and their engagement with the sensual world. Yeah. So there is a relief in there. That amount of relief is is perceptible, and it does warrant that sort of a statement that form is suffering and seeing is suffering. And what the Buddha's here intention, Buddha's advice here is that um, there is a freedom, there is a relief that not having to be dependent on I and form is is a much better state than to be dependent on I and form. You see, so this is a difference here. Is it because you are dependent that your experience is uh, dependent on I and form? Because of that sort of dependency, depending on I and form, what is arising is the I consciousness. So these two have generated another dependent phenomena. So you see, from two it became three. So I and form, and now the another concept called I consciousness arose. And when these three came together, then another concept called contact arose. Yeah, you see, as soon as this kind of a uh, coming together, the conceptualized, you see, now I arose, form arose, dependent on those, I consciousness arose. The meeting of the three is contact, which is the fourth element of contact arose. And with contact as a condition, then there is a feeling arose. And feeling is, there are three types of feeling: pleasant, non-pleasant, neither pleasant nor non-pleasant. So it does not end there. And feeling is reacted to. Feeling is now invited another partner called craving. That means I like it, I don't like it. So again, feeling is now has got another partner called craving, and craving is not, it doesn't end there. Craving invites the tendency to amass, to acquire more of those experiences if it is pleasing, or push them away if it is unpleasing. So you see, that kind of oscillation, that kind of shaking has occurred. Is that I don't want it, I want it, and so on. So that kind of, uh, let's say, oscillation, that kind of uh, steering of the mind, the calm state of mind is now much more perturbed. It has been, it's like a tug of war is happening. Is that I want it, I don't want it, and so on. Yeah. So you see that kind of a I and form, as soon as we start to conceive, this is I and that is form, that single spark of concept generated all these phenomena simultaneously. And you know what, after clinging, that sort of what is called padana, the clinging, as soon as there is a clinging, that concept of acquiring, then you have already what is called you have planted a seed for your uh, reappearance. You have kind of deposited money in a bank account to take a rebirth. Two, you have planted a seed, let's say. That means that is a potential, that is a seed that is gonna become a full tree or a plant. You see, that potential has already been generated because of your tendency of taking those experiences to acquire more or push them away. You see, your freedom, your kind of your safety against all this sort of sticky situation is to let go. Yeah. Instead of letting go, you started to conceptualize, made story out of everything. Out of there was just a concept. There was just a process. There was just a phenomenon of seeing, and that seeing was conceptualized. You had the concept of I, you had a concept of form, you had a concept of I consciousness, you had a concept called eye contact, and you had a concept called I feeling, the concept called I craving, I clinging, and that's it. That means if you liked that experience, then you have already planted a seed for you to look for an eye. That means either you will you will be endowed with the eye, or you will be you're seeing, or if yeah. So it's kind of you have planted a seed for sight, yeah, to have eye, have a form, have eye consciousness. You see, you have already started chain for this phenomena to continue. So you wished for that sort of eye to continue. Yeah. So that means there will be a rebirth of because of that. That means you have made a desire to have an eye, have eye, have a form for to have eye consciousness, to have eye contact, and so on. So that means because of your imagination, because of your desire, because of your clinging, because of your attitude to amass, to acquire, it's like you got it for free. Mara, or whatever the being, that has got the opportunity to sneak through that process, and that Mara gave you a blessing. Here you go. You will have an eye because you wished for an eye. Here you go. You will be reborn with an eye, or you may, because you delighted in I, there you go, you will have an I. Not the I of a human being or devas or whatever, heavenly being, but an I of a being. That's it. Yeah. So you see, it's a very, very vicious and sticky and extremely, uh, if I say dangerous, it will be a bit alarming. But see, you see, this world, this samsara is is really is a frightening place. Yeah. That after this human existence, uh, it is our destiny, whatever this experience after leaving this body, if we have not done that sort of development of mind, and if we go with the flow of this kind of worldly activities, and we don't know, if we don't know how to block this process of rebirth going into that sort of lower realm, let's say there are many lower realm below the human beings, then yeah, you see, it's not that this world is not a safe place. Yeah, we are lucky that we are born as a human being with eyes intact, and we have got all these protections from the dangers and debacles. You can already see how much of misery and suffering there are in the animal realm. At least we can witness that, although we cannot say the same for beings of the hungry ghost realm or in the hell realm. But at least we can see there is a suffering. Anything below the human realm is their world, their their existence is not pleasurable. Yeah, it's not it's not the at least it's not happiness. So that is why Buddha is saying, I, the VQ, is the ocean for a person, and its current consists of forms. One who withstands the current consisting of form is said to have crossed the ocean of I with waves, whirlpools, sharks, and demons. That means, how do you withstand this current of form? Is I already mentioned about this I and form, I consciousness, I contact, I feeling, I perception, I craving, all these sort of things. These are what is called the current. These are what is called current or whirlpool, because they are sustained by our reaction, our process of engagement. You see, that current, that how do you withstand those current? By backing off, by letting go, by not projecting. See, so as soon when there is an I and form, when those sort of concept of I and form arose, instead of projecting, instead of conceptualizing, if you stood back and let that process be, then there is no conceptualizing of I and form, I consciousness. There is just a process of seeing. There is a seeing, but nothing else. Yeah. And this is what the Buddha's message is, that as there is no, when there is no concept of I in that process, I am seeing, I am seeing the form. This is my I consciousness. There is I feeling. All these sort of things, these kind of things would start to generate the current of uh, around that sort of phenomena, and that is the ocean, that is the depth, that is the kind of what is called the bottomless ocean. That is the kind of that is the trap, that is the uh, chain, that is the confinement, which is swamping, which is drowning the beings in that sort of deep ocean. So how do you cross over? Is let that process be. Let the I be. Let the form be. Let the I consciousness be. Whenever you let those be without any kind of engagement, these phenomena, they will subside. They will simply do not arise. Yeah. So these are they will only become a reality. They will only become manifest when there is projection, when there is attention. They are not something really out there. They are like a ghost, like something unreal, something imaginary, something phantom like, events. Is that you awaken them, you arouse them, you resurrect them from dead, from, complete non-existent, nothing out there, and they will start to pop out. Those dead become alive because of your attention. So you see, that is why we are inviting the suffering. We are diving into that sort of ocean. We are diving into that ocean of suffering because of our projection, because of our curiosity, because of our imagination, because of our fascination with that sort of all this sort of whatever is happening is we have relinquished, we have submitted to that sort of a phenomena. So Buddha is saying that when you step back and do not project, then that form will arrive, that form will cease, that consciousness will cease, that contact will cease, everything will start to cease. Cease in a sense that they will subside, they will not, it's like, there was nothing, it's complete emptiness. Because of our attention, they start to become, they will arise. If you do not feed them with your attention, none of these phenomena will manifest. Those were just potentials, and those potentials only become reality when there is engagement, when we feed them. Okay, so there's uh, so much behind. You see, this universe, this world is unfathomable. It is extremely precarious and very, very complex because of our, let's say, our constant engagement. Yeah, we are prolonging this, and we are feeding them, we are nourishing them, we are uh, providing all the spices and cocktails and different flavors to make this world even more tantalizing, more fascinating. We are giving the fascination to something truly which is do not these sort of things are, they become tantalizing and the sort of extremely interesting because of our, let's say, our engagement, our attention. Yeah. So, and this is the thing is that we have got a habit and our tendency and to make this kind of experiences as tantalizing as possible. So you can already see this 21st century advancement with development of, let's say, media, electronics, broadcasting, electronics, information technology. And now here you go, we have got AI, artificial intelligence, that is making this infinitely more engaging, sticky, and infinitely more vicious. Is that the trap is becoming even far greater uh, to become absorbed into that sort of situation. So it does really makes our experiences even hard to difficult to disentangle with. So at least uh, even 100 years ago, there were no such kind of entertainment. The source of uh, engagement with all these sensory phenomena, they were very limited. All they used to have was some dancers, musicians, and instruments, and some sort of natures, rivers, mountains, and so on. Now you have got the virtually everything in your desktop, in the palm of your hand. You have got the whole world of six senses in front of you. So this has made our life even more difficult to be free of those sensual thoughts, sensual pleasures, sensual attraction, and so on. So this is what the Buddha is saying is that our freedom is right in front of us. This this infinitude of suffering is just we are. It's like we are just uh, fueling that sort of a, let's say, a time bomb or atom bomb, whatever you call it. It is just sustained by that spark of contact, and that's it. It has a blaze that that world has infinite number of proliferation because of our attention. So it can be made to stop right at that sort of point of contact and point of intention and attention. You see, this chain is very, very, very prolific. It has got a it has got a potential to continue infinitely in a time domain. It has got a potential to grow in the sort of magnitude infinitely across the entire cosmos, across the entire eons and trillions of eons. So, and that process can be made to stop immediately, anytime, as soon as you have seen the arising and you have let that process be. You pull the trigger, you pull the string out of your attention, that entire chain, that entire process will collapse immediately because you have let go of the cause. Yeah? So this dependent origination is really, really, it is so fragile. It is so, it can be stopped, with so little effort. So little effort. It's just all you need is that so small, tiny of relaxation, tiny amount of backing off, and it will just fall apart completely because whole foundation of this dependent origination is sustained by that extremely thin filament of that sort of attention. Yeah, it's just gonna collapse immediately. See, this is the beauty of this Dhamma, is that we unravel the truth. We unravel the freedom immediately in front of us. Yeah. So that is the kind of practice, is uh, that is what the Buddha's path is all about, is uh, mind and phenomena. When this dependence of mind to phenomena is let go of, right at the moment of letting go, there is freedom. Yeah. So that is why this Dhamma is immediately visible right now, visible here and now, and it's right there. It is immediately effective. Okay, let me continue. The ear, because, is the ocean for a person. The sound is the one who withstand that current of sound is said to have crossed the ocean. Yeah. So in a similar manner, we have with ear and sound, ear consciousness, tongue and flavor, tongue consciousness, body and tangible body consciousness, mind and mental object, and mind consciousness. Yeah. So this is the same pattern across the all six senses and their what is called the projections. Yeah. Concept the proliferation of six phenomena in the six sense doors. These are all the what is called the there is an ocean in the eye, there is ocean on the sound, there is this ocean of sound, there is an ocean of taste, there is an ocean of touch, there is an ocean of thoughts. Yeah. So our six senses, there are six ocean that will never dry up. They are constantly getting what is called they are getting deeper and deeper with each moment of engagement. They become bottomless. They become so deep. We have it's unfathomable. Yeah. So this is how we are creating deeper, ever deeper ocean of suffering due to our attention to this sixth sense fair experiences. So that is why Buddha said that one who withstands that current consisting of mental phenomena is said to have crossed the ocean of mind, and with its waves, whirlpool, demons, and sharks, crossed over, gone beyond, the Brahman stands on the high ground. Now, it's very interesting. So the Buddha has compared this sensory world, this uh, sensory world means this earth, this cosmos, this galaxy, this universe, visible universe, and you can call it multiverse, parallel universes, anything you can imagine that is special. There is no limit on where this world expands. Yeah, it just continues. It goes on and on. There is no limit in this sense experience. This space is boundless, time is boundless, and this experience is boundless. Yeah. So only thing that it can be made to an end is our engagement. That is where the freedom is. There is no freedom in space, there is no freedom in time, there is no freedom in sense experiences. Only freedom there is in this our process of our mental development. This is where we break free of this sort of entire process of being the sort of being a victim, being some sort of being completely consumed in this merciless uh, sphere of existence. Yeah. So Buddha's depiction of this world as such a precarious, such a unfathomable depth of ocean shows the stark reality that being stuck in the samsara for another countless eons and beyond billions of trillions of eons is a genuine possibility that is going to be a really, really, it's a very, very extremely pity to see that there are countless beings who are living in that sort of a ignorance, in that sort of state of comfort without realizing that how frightening, how scary this place is. This world of six senses is extremely, extremely dangerous. The world is not safe place. I know I I have to uh, say that I'm still living it, and I can imagine this being stuck in this sort of world that is going to consume through all the six senses. And if we had no way out of this senses and being grind into that sort of machine of six senses and being imagine like a crusher of machine like a crusher that will crush all these dust and stone into dust and particles. That's it. Six sense world are like that. Yeah, it's just we are being crushed by this sort of sense fair existences again and again, going through that sort of pain and disaster and debacles, rebirth and re-death. Is we simply have to take a step back and imagine how if we had seen this process, let's say a being going into that process of being being, thrown under the bus, being falling from the cliff and so on. It's, if you can imagine these kind of eventualities are, is there are, like war. You can see that, war is happening in everywhere in the Middle East. There will be some nation might eventually drop a bomb in this from above, and that's it. We all will be perished at any time. That is stark possibility. That is a distinct possibility. That being, if you are stuck in this universe, in the sense spheres, then what the Buddha said is really, really, it is even more dangerous. It is even more precarious than how it was in 2600 years ago. So, crossed over, gone beyond, the Brahman stands on the high ground. That high ground is what I wanted to. This is something is it makes every sense to me why we need to find such safety, being never being impacted by the six senses, never been never all these feelings and perception and consciousnesses on the eye, on the ear, on the nose and the tongue, and tangibles and the mind. Those sense spheres, those not having to be contacted ever again. Look at that sort of relief. Look at that sort of freedom. Look at that sort of safety. Never being impacted by this impingement on the six sense doors. Yeah. So that is the state. That is only the state. Yeah. So this is not about some high ground, but this is just a metaphor. Compared with that sort of depth of ocean with all sharks and demons and whirlpools, and that is what the Buddha is giving like a high ground, is that sort of a safe and dry place. Yeah. So that is the state of mind. That is the state of freedom where none of the six senses can find a footing. Yeah. So it is a like a it is contactless state. It is a dependence-less state. It is an independent state from all kind of dependent phenomena. That is, it is independent in every sense. Just think of this as like a you are freed from above, below, beyond, everywhere. That's it. Nothing is latching. That is the state of freedom. And this is what the Buddha is saying, is that there is such a state that is free from everything, above, below, beyond, everywhere, all the senses, everything is completely freed from everywhere. This is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the Fortunate One, the teacher said further this: one who has crossed this ocean so hard to cross, with its dangers of sharks, demons, and waves, the knowledge master who has lived the holy life, reached the world's end, is called one gone beyond. Makes perfect sense. So that's it. This ocean is really, really so hard to cross. Yeah. So, and I do know many various imaginators, philosophers, critics, meditators, practitioners who rather than practicing and seeing for this by themselves, they are overshooting and projecting and imagining such a state as if they have transcended all these other things through their imagination. They have conceptualized this state rather than seeing this here and now. Buddha is saying these are all here and now, everywhere, in this very life, in this very moment, not somewhere in a projecting and conceptualizing and imagining. These kind of philosophies do exist. I don't have to give you any kind of evidence of that. You see, those kind of philosophies which project that sort of all-pervading consciousness, all-pervading kind of a supreme consciousness, supreme beyond imagination, beyond concept. They call it sort of in a such a state of what is called lofty state. But they are projecting, overshooting. They are going billions and billions of miles away from the reality. Those are the people who are stuck in the samsara for the greatest length of the time. They are the one who will be suffering the most because of their such a heavy-handed nature of imagining, far-fetching too much to the fact and not staying in the present moment. They are going, they are the one who will be stuck in the samsara virtually forever. Yeah. So those kind of beings are the ones who are the most unfortunate. Those who are too much proliferating, far beyond those simple folks. Yeah. So yeah, and I mean, well, anybody can claim their philosophies. We don't need to worry about those people who are delved into deeper and deeper philosophies. And we are not the philosophers. We are the practitioners who are seeing the truth in front of us here and now. This is the process. That's it. So that is how we reach the end of the world, not by building a massive spaceship that can travel at the 1,000 times the speed of light. No, we don't need that. So the end of the world is found here and now, right in front of us. That is how we go beyond this state of universe, the state beyond the time, state beyond the inner space, state beyond consciousness, state beyond contact, state beyond all these eye and form, all the six senses, and everything that follows, everything that is connected with this phenomena, we have gone beyond. We have stepped out of this universe. So that is how we reach the end of this universe. This is the end of what is called the end of suffering is there, right there. So I thought this was a really, really something truly special sutta that I wanted to, I just read it yesterday and I was amazed as to how profound this is. And this is something I just wanted to, share my understanding. Uh, I do not claim that I have already gone beyond. Just this is what I saw, and this is what I see. This is what the Buddha is saying. That does not mean that I'm totally unbound, totally free. No, that is not the case. I know this through my understanding, and I can very well, um, I can, because I have seen this process, because I have already gone through this path. I have got a really, really good kind of a practical understanding of what this is all about. So that's it. I hope this has been useful to you. Please do send your comments, interactions. So hopefully I can continue to share more of my understanding in a similar manner in the future. Thank you. And may this Buddha's dispensation continue to free all those beings who are not able to find the way out of the suffering. Thank you.